Hello, my little tripods. It's Cherry here. Sorry for leaving you on a cliffhanger last episode, but have fun hanging onto that cliff because we're not. This episode isn't about Iwaizumi and Oikawa. It's about Sakusa and Atsumu. We're now on the SakuAtsu arc, so yeah, it's gonna be painful. It's composed of primarily flashbacks. You'll see what I'm talking about when you get to the video. But yeah, I hope you enjoy the video. Bleh.
Everything hurts. Atsumu feels as though he's been hit by a truck as he sits up in his bed, body aching and sore from lack of sleep. He places a hand to the back of his neck and winces, having slept on it wrong. Looking at the alarm clock by his bedside table, he spots the time. 8:30 a.m. Shit. He wasn't even able to sleep a full 3 hours. Tossing his legs over the bed, he runs his tongue over his chapped lips and grabs his phone, immediately pulling up his texts with Sakusa. Still no response from the text he had sent last night. Sighing, he locks his phone and places it face down, pressing his elbows on his knees and his face into his palms. Kiyumi, you're killing me here. He drops his hands, yawning. Well, if he was unable to sleep, he might as well try and do something. Gathering all the energy he could, Atsumu drags himself to the bathroom where he takes a quick shower, allowing the hot water to try and unknot his tense muscles as he gathers as much soap on his body as he possibly could. Once his hair was clean and a damp mess on his head, feeling thoroughly clean from the inside out, he steps out and brushes his teeth before heading back to his room and tugging on a pair of gray sweatpants and one of his overly large sleeping shirts he tended to wear almost always. Suddenly exhausted, Atsumu sinks belly down onto his bed trying to force himself to relax. It's only 10 minutes later when his eyes slip back open, unable to lure himself to slip. For fuck's sake. He sits up and checks his phone one last time, seeing some notifications from his email and social media, but none from Sakusa. Whatever. Ignoring the burning feeling in his chest, Atsumu decides to leave his room and his phone and heads to the kitchen, where Osamu is already cooking some breakfast. Yuri up early. Osamu looks to the side where Atsumu is leaning on the countertop, pausing as he shoves the spatula around in his raw hash brown slivers, a sizzling sound emitting into the air as he does so. I could say the same thing about you. Did you sleep well? Not really. How many hours did you get? I'd say about 3-ish. Maybe. I wasn't really paying attention. What? Yeah. Couldn't sleep. Atsumu looks down at the floor, crossing his arms as Osamu gives him a concerned look. Osamu already knows the reason, it's written all over Atsumu's face, but he'd rather not push his twin right now. Especially when they just rekindled their relationship. Wanna talk about it? Atsumu's breath hitches in his throat and he hesitates. Before sighing, shoulders slumping as he runs one hand through his fluffy, unruly hair that sits on top of his head. It's Sakusa. Yeah. He texted me a whole lot when I ran off, but now he isn't saying anything. Did you text him? Yeah. I told him we should probably meet up and talk. What did he say? He hasn't responded yet. Osamu lets out a sound of disapproval, turning back to look at his hash browns. You shouldn't let him affect you like this. It's just we always fight, you know? We have a lot of history and it's a bit more dramatic and complicated than two high school sweethearts should have, but this time it feels different. How does it feel different? It feels like this time I've actually lost him. Osamu pauses, a tense silence falling over them. He looks over his shoulder and sees where Atsumu is chewing at his nail, a nervous habit he picked up when he could no longer suck on it. Hey, don't say that. He seems to care a lot about you. How do you know? You've never had a full conversation with him. I've been texting him this past day or so about you. He's an odd guy, and I'm not gonna give my opinion, but in his own way I'd say he loves you. Yeah, he's always been a bit weird. He cares about you, Atsumu. He does, but I can't help but feel this way, you know? It's like my chest feels so heavy, and there's some upcoming doom heading my way. Hey? Osamu flicks the stove off, placing his spatula on a nearby paper towel and turning around, giving a soft smile to his twin. I know you feel this anxiety, I've felt it too after fights with Suna. But you guys really love each other. Once you guys talk, everything will be fine. Atsumu swallows, Adam's apple bobbing in his throat. Atsumu, try not to stress over it now. I'm sure he'll text you later. For now, how about we have breakfast, yeah? Atsumu wraps his arms around himself, mirroring his twin's soft smile. Yeah, that'd be nice. Breakfast was nice. Atsumu doesn't think he and Osamu have ever used their kitchen table, never having touched it as it was the spot that reminded them most of their parents, but that morning, they were able to. They sat across from one another, eating fried eggs, hash browns, and sausage, empty conversation and giggles spilling between their lips between each bite. It was nice. It felt like home. But the entire time, Atsumu's brain felt itchy, as if it were missing something, and the minute he and Osamu finished washing dishes and parted ways, his mind immediately bombed him with thoughts of his boyfriend. If he still had one. Sighing, Atsumu heads back to his room and collapses on his bed looking up to the ceiling. He tries to battle it, tells himself to not pick up his phone, to just go to bed, but he can't help it. He turns onto his side and grabs his phone, unlocking it and pulling up Omi's texts. Nothing. Except this time, instead of pouting like a child and locking it, he scrolls up. And up. And up. And up, and up, and up, until he's rereading conversations from half a year ago, over a year ago, smiling, laughing, rolling his eyes. He missed Sakusa. So much. He missed the way Sakusa would hold him, tease him, talk him through his panic episodes, kiss his forehead, and spill his darkest emotions when they were curled up in bed and he thought Atsumu was asleep. Sakusa was his one and only. He really was. And as he lures himself to sleep, exhaustion finally taking over, he can't help but dream of Sakusa. Then, Atsumu didn't have a whole lot of friends back in high school. Outside of his brother and the volleyball team he was a part of, nobody seemed to really like him or at the very least tolerate him. It wasn't like he cared too much. People were just a nuisance. They never understood him, always had some fake front to their surface, and cared more about materialistic things. They lacked depth, were stupid, and all around annoying. At least, that's what he told himself to feel less like an outcast. In his second year of high school, it seemed as though everyone around him sort of calmed down. Osamu, the fucking prick that he was, didn't talk shit on his main or care too much about bullying him anymore, and some of the boys that bullied him back then didn't even turn his way now. In a sense, Atsumu kind of missed being picked on. After all, any sort of attention is still attention, and that was something he lacked. He had some acquaintances in classes, he had the volleyball team, he had Osamu, but it seemed pointless to try and comfort himself with that thought when he felt alone. Because he was alone. At least until his coach announces a practice match against Itachiayama Institute, who has the #1 spiker in Japan on their team. Being the one setter in Japan, Atsumu can't help but buzz at the announcement, because maybe, just maybe, he'll find someone he could be friends with. Someone he could trust. Now remember, we only have a day here. This isn't a training camp, so we don't have time to dwindle and play around. Jinjima coughs, a word spilling from his lips that sounds suspiciously like Atsumu. Not only that, but this isn't our home turf. Respect Itachiayama's players and coach, and do not go wandering off. Akagi coughs this time, it sounding a lot like Jinjima's. Lastly, have fun with the match, but remember this is just practice. Even if Itachiayama doesn't explicitly give us advice, coach is taping it for future reference, and if you pay attention now, studying the tape and learning some tips and tricks from them won't be harder when we have to analyze it. I still find it kind of creepy coach has to record every match. Don't forget to try and make some friends, either. If you decide to go pro, it might help you gain some networking later on. Yeah, well, don't become too friendly. I don't need to miss the bus since I have to hunt someone down because they're too busy flirting with someone. This time, Akagi and Jinjima cough together. Irritated, Atsumu crosses his arms and looks to them with a sour expression. Will you lot knock it off? Do you think I'm stupid or something? Yes, actually. I'll have you know I'm quite excited to play against Itachi-Ayama, actually, and I'm planning to be on my best behavior. That's the spirit. You're only excited because you can finally meet Sakusa Kyumi. Atsumu ignores the way his face turns red, eyes blazing with anger as he pins a glare on his brother. Hey, this is an A-B conversation. See your way out of here. Suna snickers while Osamu rolls his eyes, waving off his twin with a lazy roll of his wrist. You do get that just because he's the number one spiker and you're the one setter doesn't mean you two will hit it off, right? Don't be so mean, Samu. This might be the start of an awesome romantic comedy. Yeah, well I heard Sakusa is a freak so I'm sure the two of them will get along just fine. Before Atsumu can all but bark at his twin, Kita is interjecting in the conversation. Osamu, Suna don't talk to Atsumu in such a disrespectful manner. And don't think I didn't notice you two mocking him either, Jinjima and Akaji. You all are teammates, and while Atsumu is a very interesting character, everyone needs to be treating each other with respect. I don't need any fights breaking out amongst my teammates. Now apologize. The playful atmosphere on the bus turns sour, everyone but Aaron mumbling a half-assed sorry, Atsumu, before some sneers are thrown his way. Atsumu can't help but feel embarrassment simmer in the pit of his stomach and he tries to sink as low in his seat as possible, wishing he had just kept his mouth shut. He glances up to Kita, who has a small frown on his face as he watches the teammates divide themselves from Atsumu, ignoring him. When Kita makes eye contact with him, Atsumu gives a weak smile. At least he had someone on his side. The rest of the trip is spent with Atsumu playing the song Asterix by Orange Range on a loop, headphones tucked snug in his ears as he focuses on the words, keeping his eyes shut so he doesn't have to see his teammates around him. Transcend time and you will prove, there is a special place for you. Atsumu can't help but scoff at the lyrics "a special place for you." There was no special place for him. When he finally opens his eyes and unplugs his headphones from his ears, it's time to head out of the bus and begin practice with Itachi-Ayama. He yawns as he stands, picking up his duffel bag and slinging it over one shoulder. Kita reminds them all once more of the rules before walking off the bus, and right as Atsumu is about to step into the walkway, Osamu purposely collides his shoulder with his twin, probably still pissed off from Kita defending him early. Captain's pet. Atsumu feels his heart drop at the words. Keep the light inside of you, never give up, don't ever lose. Was there a light in Atsumu? If there was, it must be burning out, because before this bus trip he was ecstatic to play, and now all he wanted was to head to bed. He wouldn't, though. He was too bitter and petty too. Atsumu blinks, realizing he hung behind so everyone could pass him. He turns to Aaron, who gives him a look of pity, covering it with a friendly smile. Come on man, let's go. We'd be nothing without our setter. It was an attempt to make him feel better and that was enough for Atsumu to push the words from the song from his mind and throw a lopsided smile Aaron's way. Of course you wouldn't, I am number one, after all. The cocky remark is big, but Atsumu can't help but feel as if his words are empty. Aaron merely ignores it, slapping a hand on Atsumu's back as the blonde walks past him to get off the bus. You might be number one but you're still that annoying kid who always followed me around back when we were kids. And you loved it. I always made your day brighter. Normally, Aaron would give a sarcastic quip about how Atsumu wished he was important enough to do such a thing as that, but after that weird tension on the bus, Aaron just sighs, nodding his head. Yeah, you did. Haha, see. At least I know you and Kita will always love me. And sure, it was sad. It was really sad being so alone. The only form of affection he had was pity from his captain and vice captain, but Atsumu couldn't find it in himself to complain. When they get inside the gym, Atsumu hangs close to Kita and Aaron, Suna and Osamu talking mindlessly about whatever it is they talked about, and Akaji and Jinjima just silently watching everyone around them. When does the match start? Coach wants us to introduce ourselves and mingle with the teams a little bit, and then we're gonna start. Oh, so like a meet and greet? Sure. Are you gonna get Sakusa's autograph? I don't mean that type of meet and greet. You should go talk to him if you want to though, Atsumu. Atsumu shoves his hands into the pockets on his shorts, drinking in the sight of the room. The Itachi-Ayama players were sort of scattered, two of them already talking to Jinjima and Akaji, and it takes him a minute before he spots Sakusa Kyumi leaning on the wall towards the back, a mask over his face and his hands stuffed in an ugly, highlighter yellow windbreaker. He blushes at the sight of the spiker and turns back to Kita and Aaron laughing nervously. It isn't that big of a deal, not like we're ever gonna play together or anything. Don't you want to meet him? Yeah, I mean I wanna talk volleyball with him, but Atsumu, just because some people at our school act like asses doesn't mean everyone else will. If it makes you feel better, we can all go up to him and introduce ourselves. Atsumu turns bright red as Kita nods to Aaron's words, a small and wholesome smile on his face. Yeah. Would that make it easier for you? Atsumu can just picture the teasing he'd endure from his teammates. Or, did baby Tsumu need to hold daddy's hand? Is he a little wimp? That alone has him smacking the back of his neck, laughing off the awkwardness of the situation. No, it's fine, it's not. Sorry. That embarrassed you, didn't it? Just a bit. Okay, well we won't bother you then. But you should really go say hi. I know you've watched a lot of his plays on YouTube and look up to him. Wah, I do not look up to him, he seems like a cool guy, is all. Oh, so like a fanboy. Atsumu doesn't think he could turn any more red than he is right now. Kita, maybe just drop the topic, yeah? A touchy subject. My bad. It's fine. How about we go introduce ourselves to the captain now, Kita? Good idea. Have fun, Tsumu. Atsumu winces, waving by as Aaron and Kita walk off, feeling as though they were genuinely his parents. He looks over to where Suna and Osamu are, the two of them camping out on the bleachers talking to each other as they scroll on their phones. Well, maybe he wouldn't have to worry about those two, they seemed genuinely uninterested. Gathering up as much courage as possible, Atsumu walks over to where Sakusa is standing, eyes lowered down and tapping away at his phone. He can't help but spot the game he's playing, one he saw Jinjima play every once in a while during breaks. Oh, hey. That's that zombie game. Sakusa's thumb pauses for a moment, before he's locking his phone and tucking it into his pocket, his dark eyes shifting up and meeting Atsumu's lighter ones. Sorry, I came over to say hi, but I guess all my social skills went flying out of the window. Atsumu Miya, right? Yeah, that's me. I think I saw you guys go up against Nakoma once. Oh, yeah, I think we played them in nationals last year. Yeah. I was watching. Atsumu's face burns bright red. Oh, cool. Your sets are really good. Well, guess I am the number one for a reason. That's just a title. Titles don't matter. What? You have something against them? Once people reach number one, they get sloppily, as if they've already reached their goal. Cocky. It's easy to wipe them out because they get this superiority complex. Yeah, but it's still something to be proud of. Sure, but it can STLL kill you. I doubt any other setter has my motivation anyways. There's plenty. Kenma Kozume could easily take your spot if he wasn't so lazy. Had Oikawa Toru gone to a better high school, he would have ranked, and then there's Tobio Kageyama, not to mention the setters on Shiratorizawa. Dude, we just met and you're already drilling me on my ego? Sakusa falls silent, ticking his head to the side. I've heard about you. Heard what? That you're obnoxious, annoying, cocky. Dude, are you stupid or something? Sakusa falls silent as Atsumu crosses his arms and scoffs. I came over to say hi, not for you to bully me. Sakusa studies him for a moment, before he's bowing his head down. Sorry. Sometimes it's as if I have no filter. I just thought it'd be the easiest way to start conversation. Atsumu blinks, Sakusa standing up straight and meeting his eyes. It's whatever, man. Not like I haven't heard worse. I'm Sakusa Kyumi. Nice to meet you. Atsumu Miya. You can just call me Atsumu or Tsumu. You have a twin, right? Yeah. That's why I go by my first name. That must be cool. I don't have anyone but my cousin, really. It must be nice always having someone there for you. Atsumu recalls the way Osamu had bumped into him on the bus, his insult laced with subtle venom. I'm quite lonely, actually. Having siblings really isn't that fun. Oh, sorry to hear about that. It's okay. I like to meet people at these practices cause maybe I'll be able to find someone like me, you know? So, like a mixer? Dude, no. I'm just trying to make some friends. Atsumu turns red when he sees Sakusa's eyes crinkle at the sides. You don't seem to get my humor very much. Oh, it's fine. I'm the dry type, so people don't tend to get me very well. People just sort of reject me. Maybe we could be good friends then. Yeah. Atsumu goes to say something again when the coaches are blowing their whistles. He doesn't even have time to look over his shoulder before Osamu is calling out to him. Hey, Atsumu. Stop being a flirt and come over here before you catch something. Sakusa raises one eyebrow as Atsumu burns red, suddenly feeling the urge to take his twin by the throat and throttle him. That's your brother? Yeah, just ignore. Hello, we aren't getting any younger. Atsumu sighs, rolling his shoulders forward. I'll talk to you after the match. Yeah. We're having a surprise barbecue for you guys after, so I'll save a seat for you. Atsumu beams, grinning wide. Really? Never thought I'd see someone so excited over a barbecue. Yeah, sure. Atsumu. Get your fat ass over here. Atsumu's happiness cracks irritation overriding his senses. I'll see you after my team kicks your team's ass. Yes, you're number one, isn't that right? Yeah. And I don't know who you've met, but being number one just eggs me on to stay as number one. Alright. I'd be happy to see if you prove me wrong. I will. Okay. We should probably stop now, people are already lining up and I don't need my coach to give me an earful. Right. Okay. Bye. Is it bye if we're seeing each other on the court? Are you flirting with me, Mr. Sakusa? In your wildest dreams. You don't wanna see those. I don't think you wanna see mine. Atsumu blushes as they part ways, just waving goodbye as he falls into his spot beside Jinjima. Looks like someone found their soulmate. Atsumu is too busy watching Sakusa slip off his mask and leave it at his bag to give a smart response, breath cutting off when he takes in the other male's rounded, bored eyes and frowning lips. Playing against a team like Itachi was fun. Atsumu didn't know if it was Sakusa's words about the title of number one making people sloppy lighting a fire in him he didn't know he had, but he was having the time of his life. All of his sets were on point and you could see the happiness and excitement on his face with every set, spike, and receive he did. From where Kita was sitting, he was throwing words of encouragement at his teammates and didn't let Atsumu's effort go unnoticed. Keep it up, Atsumu. You're doing great. Sooner make sure to exert a little more energy, and Osamu keep the good spikes up. As they played, Atsumu couldn't help but throw looks Sakusa's way, the two of them all but challenging each other with just the look on one another's faces. It's nice, actually having that non-verbal competition with Sakusa, and he can't help but feel as though maybe they'll get to like each other well enough tonight to swap phone numbers. He carries that with him throughout the final set, beaming when Inarizaki takes the first match. You can see why they call me the number one setter now, huh? Don't get too cocky, you still haven't proved to me you truly deserve that title. What, did you not see that match? Win, and then maybe I'll admit some people don't get sloppy when they make it to number one. Atsumu smirks, placing two hands on his hips. I think you just want a reason to talk to me. And if I do? Well, wait, what? I said, and if I do? Sakusa chuckles, walking away from the net separating them. Have fun, Atsumu. As Atsumu blushes a bright red, speeding off to grab his water bottle and all but down it in one go, Osamu watches them with a petty smirk on his face. Looks like Atsumu has a crush. Are you surprised? No. But I do think it'd be fun to play a little prank on him, don't you think? A prank? In the middle of a match? Yeah, why not? It's funny seeing Atsumu get all mad and do that little scrunch nose thing of his that he does. What is it? You'll see. Have fun with that. I will. Believe me, it's funny seeing him get worked up. Suna just overlooks Osamu, picking up his water bottle and taking a swig. He seems to be enjoying himself. Which makes a prank all the more funny. Isn't that a tad immature? It's not like I'm gonna ruin practice. I'm just gonna mess with him, is all. Want in? I'd rather not have Kita tear me a second asshole, thanks. Fine, have it your way. Atsumu hums to himself, drinking his water bottle happily as he thinks about some techniques he can bring out in their second set, not noticing his twin plotting mischievously behind him. The second set proved to be much more harder than the first one. Not only did Itachi amp up their game, striking with a little extra power, using more tricks to gain easy points, but for some reason, Atsumu couldn't seem to get in sync with Osamu. Which was weird, considering he had been setting for Osamu since they were literally kids. Atsumu lets out a huff as Osamu once more misses the ball Atsumu set his way, sending a nervous look Sakusa's way, hoping that the wing spiker wasn't judging him. Was that one too high or too low? Osamu sighs, placing one hand on his hip and scrunching his nose. Dunno, I think it was a tad, too in the middle. Too in the middle. Too in the middle. You mean low? Yeah, sure. I guess. Atsumu feels anxiety build up in his chest. What do you mean, you guess? If you don't tell me what's wrong with my set, I'm not gonna be able to toss properly to you. Aren't you the one who said your sets are so good anyone would be able to hit them? Atsumu grits his teeth at Osamu's words, trying to act cool and not embarrass himself in front of Sakusa. Whatever. Maybe if you weren't so distracted, I'd be able to hit a couple of your tosses. Or maybe you just suck. Now, Atsumu, you don't want Kita hearing that and getting mad, do you? We can get him involved if need be. Atsumu ignores the pain that spreads through his chest, turning away from them angrily. Whatever. I'll try and fix my set. When they go back into playing, Atsumu's sets seem a tad better. Aaron is able to hit them head on, and Osamu manages to also hit them, but it's not long until Osamu is missing two of the hits and Atsumu is gritting his teeth harder. He kept constantly adjusting to Osamu's speed, the length he was away from him, everything, and yet he was still failing. He can't help but run one hand through his hair, tugging at it gently before letting his hand fall to his side. Chill out, dude, a few missed spikes haven't killed us. Atsumu ignores him, frowning to himself. It hasn't, but it was still embarrassing. It's not even 10 minutes later when Atsumu thinks he has a perfect set does he realize Osamu pausing before stepping forward, slowing himself down on purpose before springing forward, the ball falling down too quickly to meet his palm. Atsumu can't control his anger at the sight of Akagi having to retrieve the ball, setting it back up into the air. Luckily they were able to get the point thanks to Akagi, but Atsumu wasn't going to let his twins' bullshit go unchecked. Looking over to where Kita and the coach are sitting on the bench, Atsumu silently catches their eye and asks for a timeout. Itachi, confused as to why the coach is calling a timeout, hesitates before dispersing Atsumu all but zooming onto Kita with heat in his chest. Osamu is missing my sets on purpose. Jinjima snorts, Akagi rolling his eyes and crossing his arms. Are you serious? We're having a timeout because the twins are having a fight on the court? We will never be free from these shackles. I'm not missing your sets on purpose, you're just bad. Hey, Osamu, don't try and start an argument. How am I starting an argument by stating a fact? I'm not bad, do you think I'm stupid? I don't know what crawled in your ass and died today, but you've been taking some weird frustration out on me all day today. How? You literally shoved me on the bus when you were getting off. That's a tad dramatic, my dear twin. Osamu, you almost never miss any of Atsumu's sets. It's obvious something is going on. See? Oh, please. You're such a kiss ass. How am I a kiss ass when Aaron is defending me without even having to be asked? Hey, Atsumu. Atsumu sniffs, inhaling deeply and blushing at the realization his voice went loud enough to attract the attention of some other people. Osamu, maybe you should sit out for now. I'll fill in for you. What? That's not fair. I genuinely don't care about what's fair right now. You both are making us look like idiots in front of a team that's important. Jesus fucking Christ. It's just for now. Yeah, whatever. The entire team is silent as Osamu collapses to the bench, crossing his arms. He mutters something along the lines of course perfect Atsumu is saved, but nobody comments on it. Can you guys give me a moment alone with Osamu? Everyone mumbles a yes before walking off, leaving the two of them there. Osamu. What's wrong? Nothing is wrong. Does this have to do with your parents again? Dot. I can't help you if you don't let me. I don't need it. Osamu, it's obvious you're upset about something. I'm not here to make you even more angry at the world, but I'm also not going to push. Whenever you're ready to talk, I'm here. You're just a captain. What are you gonna do about anything? Kita pauses, letting the silence hang over them so Osamu's words can sink into his own system. Saying things to hurt me will only make you feel worse. Now if you'll excuse me, we have a game to play. Kita walks off, and as the game continues, the tension amongst those playing seem to wear off. Osamu, though. Osamu watches sadly, wondering why everyone was able to move on and be happy but him. Itachi ended up winning, much to Atsumu's surprise, especially since Inarizuki was leading in each set, only for Itachi somehow pull through last minute. I can't believe you guys managed to pull that win out of your ass. What do you mean out of our ass? We just are more subtle about our strategy than you guys are. Sure, or you're just lucky. I think you guys were the lucky ones. You guys have a lot you need to work out. Well, at least we have the barbecue now. Yeah, we do. It's the least we can do since you guys drove just to play with us. It was fun. It was. I have to go shower now, but I'll see you outside. Yeah, I'll be there. Sakusa smirks and gives a little wave, before walking off the court, Atsumu hanging behind with a grin on his face. Sakusa Kayumi. Atsumu was gonna sit with Sakusa Kayumi and, oh god. He was so energetic and excited. Groaning, he slaps himself on the head. God, he probably sounded like an idiot. Oh well. It didn't seem as if Sakusa minded. Now, to take a shower. Atsumu quickly runs to the locker room Inarizuki is using, all but jumping into the shower and showering as quickly as possible, humming as he lathers his body with soap and washed his hair so it's fresh and clean. Once finished, he steps out and wraps a towel around his waist, water dripping rapidly down his neck from his hair and almost slipping along the tile as he skids to his duffel bag to change. You look like you just took a dip in the pool. Atsumu looks down at himself, and phased. Oh, yeah. I need to dry off. Osamu looks over from where he's with Suna, hand inside of his bag. This have something to do with Sakusa? Atsumu doesn't pause in his motions, tugging his extra towel from his bag and immediately moving it along his arms. Huh? I don't know what you mean. We saw you flirting, Tsumu. Yeah. It was also obvious you were trying to impress him the entire game. Who said I was trying to impress him? Maybe I was doing my best for myself. Sure you were. What were you talking to him about? Just about how they managed to win last minute in the barbecue, ice all. Are you gonna sit with him? Atsumu can't help but smile, a smile that is so bright and positive and filled with happiness it could make everyone else in the room feel sick to their stomach. Yeah, I am. Osamu watches with dark eyes as Atsumu ruffles the towel in his hair, shaking the hair out of it quickly before tugging a shirt onto his now dry torso. You realize it isn't that big of a deal, right? Suna, who's drying his hair, looks to Osamu, raising one eyebrow. Samu. Sitting with someone for dinner. It's not a big deal. Atsumu frowns, not stopping in his quick effort to change. Not to you, but I like making new friends. Except you don't wanna be just friends with him. Ugh. What's your deal, Samu? You've been acting like a little prick all day. I've just been stating the truth. First of all, he doesn't live anywhere near us. Second of all, after today he probably won't even remember you. And what makes you say that? Sakusa is the top spiker in the nation, going to the #1 powerhouse school in Japan. You might be the #1 spiker, but outside of that, what qualities do you have that make you rememberable? Samu. He probably has more than enough people to choose from, so why would he ever want to pick someone like you? Especially with such a shitty job you did on the court, I doubt he'd even want you to set for him. Isn't that a tad harsh, dude? What? I'm right. We're gonna leave, and Sakusa will go back to like his life was before, and Atsumu will be nothing special to him. There's no reason to get your hopes up when there's nothing there. Samu. Atsumu is slipping his shorts up his thigh, head hanging low so his bangs cover his face. Like I said, I'm right. Even if he did get to know you, he'd probably hate you as much as the rest of us do. Dude. Osamu cuts the conversation short, grabbing his bag and all but storming off. When the door of the locker room slams shut behind him, Suna sighs and stands up, smacking a hand to the back of his neck. "I'll go, talk to him, or whatever." "Ah, right." Suna gathers his things and walks off calmly, leaving Jinjima and Akagi alone with Atsumu. They both share a look as if to say, "Where the fuck is Aaron or Kita when you need them?" "Ah, Atsumu, you know none of us hate you, right dude?" "Samu, he's just. It's weird sibling shit. He doesn't mean it." "Yeah. And we only tease you cause you're like family, we'd never mean to actually hurt you." Atsumu looks up finally, a big smile on his face. "I'm fine, guys. You think I care what someone with no drive thinks? Samu won't make it in life with his shitty attitude. But I will." Jinjima and Akagi share worried glances. "You sure? Those words hurt me and they weren't even directed towards me." "Yeah, man, you can vent if need be." Atsumu merely tucks his dirty clothes and towels into bag, before throwing it over his shoulder, head held high. "I'm fine, man. I promise." "Okay, well if we ever go too far let us know, okay? We don't know what goes on in your head." Atsumu just chuckles and begins to walk out of the door. "You guys give me far less credit than I actually have." And then he's walking out the door, a grin on his face and his chin held high. He's able to keep it up for a while as he walks outside of the gym and along the side walls, but the minute he's in an abandoned area his face crumples, and his mind breaks. Atsumu doesn't know long he's sitting there, but the entire time he's there he's crying. His hands are gripping onto the side of his head, fingers digging into the hair, and he's trying to breathe as the hot tears roll down his cheeks, whimpers falling from his mouth every so often, lips quivering. This is how Sakusa finds him, the curly black-haired male taking one hand out from his pocket and tugging his mask down, a concerned frown on his face. "Tsumu." Atsumu hiccups, wiping away at his tears and looking up at Sakusa, some sobs racking his body. "So RRY." Sakusa hesitates, an uncomfortable look on his face before he walks over and kneels beside Atsumu, keeping distance, but still there. "Atsumu. You need to calm down." "Why yeah, I think. Just try and focus on me, okay? Look at me." Atsumu meets his eyes, still struggling to calm down. "Atsumu. Can you list me 5 things you see right now?" You have 2 moles. I don't think I noticed that before." "Well, wouldn't call them moles. And you have curly hair, black hair, your eyes are pretty." Sakusa smiles, his mask tucked under his chin. "They are? Yeah, they're dark. Do you like dark colors? They're pretty, they remind me of nighttime." Yeah. Atsumu sniffs, not noticing how his tears had stopped and his breathing was now under control. "Sometimes, talking about stuff helps you calm down." "Oh, I've never done that before." "What? Cry?" Atsumu smiles, looking down at his duffel bag which he had thrown to the side. "No, never thought doing that would help. I have a therapist, so, I probably need one. As much as I hate someone poking around in my brain, I'd probably recommend it. I'll take note of that." Atsumu sniffles again, reaching up to feel the heat of his cheeks. "Sorry you saw me like this. Don't apologize." "Huh? I couldn't help but overhear some stuff that was said during the practice match. I'm assuming your brother isn't very nice, right?" Atsumu frowns, bringing his knees up to his chest and curling his arms around them. "Not really, our family isn't a close one. But it's fine, I'm used to him acting like that. No offense, Tsumu, but if you're crying that hard you must not be that used to it." Atsumu blushes. "Yeah, my life is pretty sad, you know. Nobody really likes me." "They don't?" "No. I don't. Why? I guess I try to find the positivity in everything. Try to pretend nothing hurts me, but nothing seems to work. I know how that feels." "You do?" I have germophobia. I'm not keen to touching people, or even being around them, and I'm just picky, you know. They call me an OCD freak, which, I don't have OCD, but whatever. They don't like being around me, but I guess that's alright since I don't want them to be around me." "Oh, I didn't know that." "Yeah, I guess we're in the same boat, huh? All alone." "We're not all alone. I'm sure your brother loves you." "He doesn't." Atsumu looks down at his hands, recalling the words he spat at Atsumu in the locker room. He hates me, actually. Well, that's a shame. I don't like a lot of people, but you seem pretty cool. Atsumu looks back up, mouth falling open slightly with a childlike wonder in his eyes and a high blush on his cheeks. I am? Yeah. And I invited you to come eat with me, so, no we're both alone, but, how about we go be alone together? Atsumu beams and Sakusa can't help but smile back. It wasn't as big, or as happy, but it was still there. Yeah, that'd be cool. Alright. Let's go. I'm sure all the rigs are gone by now. Atsumu ends up spending the entire time talking to Sakusa not just about volleyball, but about life in general. When it's time to go, Sakusa makes sure to program his number in Atsumu's phone saved under the contact name Kyumi. Atsumu can't help but smile the entire way home.
In case you haven't noticed, I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. I don't fit in, and I don't want to fit in. Have you ever seen me without this stupid hat on? That's weird.